Thank you so much for joining me on this edition of the Late the W podcast. As always, I'm your host, Mahal. Make sure you leave a like, subscribe, leave a 5-star review, all of that fantastic jazz. If it's your first time joining, make sure you follow on social media at Late the W pod on all of that. Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, we're active on all of those. So, without further ado, let's sound the horn and get into this episode.
The pitch from Acevedo.
Swung on the line, down the left field line for a base hit. Fly ball, gap, right center field. And
Double him up at second.
Luke is going back to the 1-8 track. Get out the right, Brennan Mustard, grandma. It is grand salami time.
We send Seattle to the American League Championship Series for the first time in 24 years.
This is one heck of a baseball team we have got up in the Pacific Northwest this season. I think we're back. I think it's safe to say we're back. That Houston series? Nah. That was like not even playing a real MLB team. Like, now we're back. We play a legit team and we get swept. Those brooms, they're back out. If not for our mop, we'd be 4-12. 4-12. But luckily, we're 8-12. Mariners get swept for the second time in the past 3 series as they lose 3 straight to the San Diego Padres. And as we get ready for a weekend series against Texas, this Mariners team is well in danger of going on a very tough streak. If you remember that sweep to Texas not all that long ago, it was the pitching matchups that killed this team. It was DeGrom, Nady Eovaldi, Mackenzie Gore. Well, you're hitting all 3 of those guys once again this weekend. And after 3 straight losses to San Diego in 3 really different ways, we're in a bad place, y'all. Welcome to episode 143 of the Late the W podcast. As always, Mahal Domingo Anderson here with you. Now let's talk about this team. There's somehow a lot to talk about. 3 straight losses for this team, and I don't know where even to start, to be honest. Game 1, I guess. Should we just start with that? I guess that's the best option here. Game 1. It is a great pitching matchup. For those that missed it, I was doing a live stream watch along on the YouTube. So make sure you subscribe, put your notification bell on so that you know the next time I do that. Because it was a lot of fun. Hopefully it was entertaining. I'd like to think it was entertaining. But I guess I don't really know. I'm not the one watching it. I'm the one doing it. I talked a lot on that about Brian Wu and him failing to make adjustments soon enough. And this really, I feel like for me at least, is a trend that I have noticed continually from Cal calling pitches and this pitching staff in general, is that they get into an inning where they have a pitch that they've been using that all of a sudden is not working. And for Brian Wu, it was that 4-seam fastball where all of a sudden they're jumping all over that 4-seam fastball. I believe this was the 3rd inning. Let me make sure. This was the 3rd inning, correct, in game 1. Mariners take a 1-0 lead top half of the 2nd. They blank San Diego in the bottom half of the 2nd, get blanked in the top half of the 3rd, and bottom half of the 3rd, his 4-seam fastball is getting jumped all over. I think about Jackson Merrill, a guy that went up and in on this 4-seam fastball. These are good pitches. They are executed well. But when you're seeing a mix that the only fastball you're getting is a 4-seam fastball, you are able to jump on that quickly. And that's what they did. Now, they got a pretty lucky base hit from Xander Bogaerts, and when a team like the Padres are right now is going right, you're getting every hit to fall. And that's kind of what happened in this series in many senses, is that they didn't hit the ball particularly hard some of the time, and they were able to produce quite a few runs. I think about game 2 also, where that happened, and that was part of the reason that the Mariners lost that game. And we'll get into that catastrophe in of itself because it's a whole nother animal. But the Mariners went from facing a high A pitching staff in the Houston Astros where they're able to walk in runs. They're able to just work good at bats. They didn't necessarily have to hit the ball super hard to drive in runs. It was just sort of like working. And then they get Michael King and that Padres bullpen. And I mean, I don't know what you're supposed to do when you're facing Adrian Morejon, Jason Adam, and Mason Miller in the 7th, 8th, and 9th innings. Like, the Mariners get 0 hits, 1 base runner through a walk against Adam. They only struck out twice. But they didn't score a run against those 3 guys. And it was rough. They only struck out 7 times in this game. Like, they were putting the ball in play. It was just never, ever with authority. And if you're not hitting the ball with authority, it's going to be real difficult for you to get base hits. And ultimately, that's pretty much what happened in this game, is that the Mariners didn't hit the ball hard enough for them to get rewarded for multiple things, and they get that bullpen, and it's like, oh, well, now we're screwed. Mariners had 4 hard hit balls in this game. Donnie had one, Nails had one, Luke Raley, who had a great series, had one, and J.P. Crawford had one. Donovan didn't have a hit. Crawford didn't have a hit. Naylor and Raley each did have a hit. It was not, I don't believe, on those hard hit balls, though, funnily enough. Yeah, Raley's 1 of 7. It was a line out to left field that likely would have scored a run. And it changes the game. Naylor's was a ground out. JP's was a ground out to double play. So, and Donovan's was a fly out. So you can kind of understand, like, there's some stuff that just, like, it's not going right for this team. And that in of itself is frustrating. That sucks. You know, I mean, I talked about Xander Bogaerts. Like, quite literally, that ball, 78.1 off the bat, but it had a 980 expected batting average because it was just placed perfectly. Perfectly. And sometimes that happens. Sometimes it does. And it's annoying. It's frustrating. It sucks. But that's baseball. And you have to find a way to recover. And Brian Wu failed to adjust. He started using that sinker, that changeup, more after that 3rd inning, and he was easy breezy through the rest of the game. If he starts using that changeup in that 3rd inning, or that sinker specifically in that 3rd inning, I think he gets out of that inning, giving up just the 1 run probably. But when you're only using 2, maybe 3 pitches, it's going to be easier to get a read on what you're throwing and see the ball better. The second time through the order is where you make your adjustments. And if you don't make those adjustments against the top of the order, their second time facing you, and they're seeing the same stuff that they saw their first at bat, and that everybody saw their first at bat, they're going to be able to jump all over you. That's what happens. He gives up 3 runs. The Mariners lose 4-1. They had 4 hits. They got dominated by the Padres pitching, which was quite perfect through much of the series. But again, that frustration for me is make adjustments. You make adjustments, and this is a completely different ball game. Maybe you only give up 1 of those runs. Maybe you only give up 2 of those runs. It's a 2-1 ball game after the bottom of the 3rd. And then you're like, you're a bomb away, a sac fly away from tying that game up. And then, oh, okay, here we go. Battle of the bullpens, which, but still, same general idea. And I guess now that we're talking about the bullpens, I guess that means we got to talk about the Andres Munoz. Which, where do I want to go with this? So Wednesday night's ball game. Mariners are cruising. They're up 6-2, entering the bottom of the 9th inning, and Dan Wilson calls to Andres Munoz, who hasn't pitched since Saturday. Both Friday and Saturday, he had iffy command sort of moments. They call on him, walks the first guy, and then all hell breaks loose. A double from Gavin Sheets, which had an expected batting average of, you guessed it, 110. And he gets an out, strikes out Nick Castellanos. We're like, all right, here we go. Well, here comes Ty France. Ty France with a weak single, expected batting average, 250. 74.9 miles an hour off of the bat. Tatis, sac fly. You get the second out of the inning. And they score a run. You're like, all right, we can get out of this inning. We're pretty close. We feel good about it. Here comes Luis Campusano. Get ahead 0-2, I believe, in that count. He punches a single at 102 off the bat. Let me go look at what pitch was thrown in that situation because I would like to see. So he gets a swinging strike on a slider, a swinging strike on a slider again, and then he throws a third straight slider, and it was a single. And then Ramon Laureano, first pitch he sees, single on a sinker. Ah, shit. Here we go. In comes Jose Ferrer for Jackson Merrill. He gets to 2-2 after two straight balls. He works back with back-to-back sinkers, and then he throws a third sinker away, and Merrill punches it the other way at, I believe, 107. Nope, 105 off of the bat. And the game's over. 2 runs score. Randy Arozarena has a field day out in the corner in left field. And it's over. And they blow it. They lose 7-6. And there's so much good in this game. Emerson Hancock, just another great start. 6 innings. He's up just 2 runs, both of which were earned. Just 4 hits, had 6 strikeouts. Only 6 hard hit balls against him. In those 6 innings, through 98 pitches, the offense put up 6 runs. They scored 2 runs in 3 innings. Luke Raley had 4 hits for the first time in his career. Randy had 2 hits. The team drew, 7 walks. Everyone but Naylor reached base in this game. And it wasn't as if Naylor didn't try. He hit the ball freaking hard. Look, so much goes right, and you blow it. That's the type of loss that just kills you. And then you're going into Luis Castillo in Game 3, and what the hell is that guy doing on my baseball team? What is he doing? like it's watching Luis Castillo right now is just a devastating watch. It's going to get overblown tonight because Dan Wilson was absolutely freaking atrocious tonight. Maybe his worst game I have ever freaking seen in my life. Quite possibly. Luis Castillo goes 5 1/3. Fails to make it through 6 full innings. He also throws 98 pitches, just 3 strikeouts. Gave up 7 hits, 3 walks, 4 runs, only one of which was earned because of his garbage throw where he gets an error that Naylor should have picked. And this defense is the most atrocious thing I've ever watched in my life. Watching this baseball team play defense hurts my soul. It is. I'm trying to think of even what the right way to put it is, because it's absolutely a joke. I am just going to go through this team right now in terms of outs above average, purely. Randy Arozarena in the 20th percentile, -1. Julio has not been that good in center field this year. I don't know what his metrics look like. Yeah, -1, outs above average. 24th percentile. Okay, let's go to right field. How about Luke Raley, huh? Luke Raley, what have you done out in right field? Oh, -2, outs above average. Your range, it sucks. First base. Let's see what Josh Naylor has done. The right side of the infield has been surprisingly the best part. He's above average. Let's give him a round of applause. 1 out above average. Good stuff, Joshua. Cole Young has been pretty solid defensively, I must say. He's been pretty much the lone bright spot defensively. He's in the 85th percentile, 1 out above average. And he's in the 79th in terms of fielding run value. He's been very good. Okay, where do we go next? Oh, shortstop, J.P. Crawford. What has J.P. Crawford done defensively this year? I'm sure it's not fun. Oh, it's not fun. Again, he was injured to start the year. His outs above average, 3rd percentile, -3. Good job, JP. And my goat, Brendan Donovan. What have you done defensively? Oh, you're the worst of the bunch. 1. His 1st percentile, -4. Outs above average. Incredible stuff from this Mariners team. They have managed to not just be bad defensively, but they have been a joke in the field. We're going to go over to Fangraphs now. I've been over on Baseball Savant. The Mariners. We need a drum roll for this. Rank in outs above average around the league from teams. Dead last. 30th and outs above average, your Seattle Mariners. Your Seattle Mariners. 30th. They're 20th in defensive runs saved. Dead last and outs above average. Dead last. If I can tell using the eye test, it's awful and it's costing them games, costing them wins, that's a bad sign. And I can tell. I watch Luke Raley in right field. I watch Randy Arozarena in left field. And I'm disgusted. A ball gets hit to a corner outfield spot, and I am horrified of what I'm going to watch. Whether it's Luke Raley spinning like a tornado, trying to find the baseball, and then throwing the ball to first base instead of third base, or Randy Arozarena falling on his freaking face because a ball bounced off the wall in the left field corner. It's utterly depressing, awful. It's a joke. It genuinely is a joke. And for a team where pitching is your strength, you need to back that up with guys in the field who are going to live up to the 27 outs no more mantra that you have a wall stating at your spring training facility. 27 outs no more. That's what it's supposed to be. Concept there is no errors. Well, they're making errors, but they're also not able to get to baseballs they need to get to, and the pitchers are suffering. Why is Logan Gilbert have to feel like he has to strike out everybody? Because his defense behind him is a disaster. Why has Jose Ferrer gotten in hot water a couple times? Why did Andres Munoz blow the save on Wednesday, other than not having great command? Because his defense can't bail him out. Because Ferrer's defense behind him can't make the play on a ground ball that's weak hit into the hole on the left side, up the middle, on a little bloop. Randy Rosarena can't get there. The defense is a legit problem. A legit problem. And whether it's moving Randy to the designated hitter position, figuring out whatever the hell you want to do with Dom Canzone and Luke Raley, and having Donnie play out in left field with Colt Emerson at third base when he's ready to come up, hopefully soon. Whatever it might be, starting Patrick Wisdom once in a while, something needs to change. Something needs to give. Because if a right-handed hitter right now pulls the baseball, it is almost guaranteed to be a hit. And that's a problem. That's a problem. If a right-handed hitter rolls over, pulls the baseball, whether it's hard hit or not, and they chop it in the infield, you need a guy that can make the play. And ultimately, they don't have those guys on the roster. You have too many guys that ultimately should be designated hitters. Does it sound familiar, Mariners fans? Does it sound like a broken record for this generation? Because that's what it is. The defense is a disaster in 2026 for the Seattle Mariners. Castillo is killing this team. You need a series win against Texas this weekend. You need it. Bryce Miller should hopefully be back at the start of May. That is no guarantee. Castillo has 2 starts before the beginning of May, and he is scheduled as of right now to make a start on May 3rd. You are going to see at least 3 more starts, in my opinion, of Luis Castillo before Bryce Miller comes back. That is 3 losses. You can chalk up 3 losses. You could say the Mariners' record right now is 8-15. Because with Luis Castillo on the mound, I don't know how this team is supposed to win a frickin' baseball game. Unless they're playing the Houston Astros, who are a AA, single A pitching staff. They literally do not stand a chance unless they are playing a awful pitching staff that they can manage to score 8 runs off of. If this offense scores 4 runs or more, they should win that baseball game. They should win it every time. Every single time. And that's not happening right now. Tonight's ball game, they had their opportunities. Connor Joe shouldn't be facing Jason Adam in the 8th inning with 2 runners on as the tying run down 3. Luke Raley should be. Connor Joe should not be pinch hitting for Luke Raley at any point, let alone the 6th inning, where Luke Raley is guaranteed another at-bat in this game, likely against Mason Miller or Jason Adam, both of whom are right handed relievers. Luke Raley should have those at bats, not Connor Joe. It can't be that hard. Mitch Garver makes more sense. But does he need to be facing the likes of a Mason Miller? In case you didn't know, the answer is no. No, he should not be. That is not what Mitch Garver should be doing with his career. Cole Wilcox should not be out in the ball game when you're facing that bullpen down 2 already against Jackson Merrill, Fernando Tatis Jr., Manny Machado, and Xander Bogaerts. I love Cole Wilcox. He should not be in that position. I want to see Dan Wilson use the likes of Gabe Spire, Edward Bizardo, Matt Brash in a game this team is losing by a run or two, just to show he has any faith in this offense. Because practically surrendering and forfeiting and saying, okay, we'll give up a run, maybe 2, is not how you win ball games and come back in ball games. It's how you lose ball games and how you create a bad clubhouse. Can Dan. I hate being negative. I wish I could have fun and just talk about this team in a positive sense. I wish. But there are legit problems right now with this baseball team. From the defense to Dan. There's legit problems, and I wish it wasn't this way. I wish it wasn't like that. I wish the Mariners were 12-8 right. I wish they were 10-10 right now. I wish they were 9-11 right now. And heading home to face Texas with an opportunity to get to 500 with the series win. But even if you were to sweep Texas, which you're not going to do, you'd still be a game under 500. And then you got Luis Castillo facing the Los Angeles Angels. It's going to be a great series against Texas. It's going to be close games the whole time. I hope there's big crowds. I hope people are excited. But it might be tough watches. And it might be frustrating. But ultimately, we need wins. And look, it's April. Today is April 16th as I'm recording this. It's not time to panic. But the frustration is real. And it sucks that there's that level of frustration. Because watching this team right now is a pain in the you-know-what. And I hate that that's how this is. If you made it this far, leave a like, subscribe, 5-star review. Leave a comment down below if you're on YouTube. What do you think about this 2026 Mariners team? Do they have legit problems? Is it going to be all right? What's going to happen? And leave your score predictions for the 3-game series against Texas this weekend. Till Sunday night, Monday morning, when it'll release. Mahal Domingo Anderson, thank you for listening to episode 143. Peace. Go M's.